lot of it was, not deep right, not deep left or short left, but that intermediate passing to the left, and what we call turn at the top. So instead of my feet just swinging and getting over there, truly getting, my feet in place to get my hips in place to get my whole body to the left.
And then from the start of last season, it seemed like, you were really taking shots down the field. Is that something you wanted to show that you could be accurate vertical passer?
Yeah, I mean that's not something that we went in there and said, hey, you're just going to throw deep balls this year just to prove to other people that you can throw deep balls. That's just kind of how our season went. There were a lot of opportunities for us to take shots. Had a lot of great players on the outside, Tyler Scott, Alec Pierce, for them to just go up and get the ball. And a lot of times, I just had to put it in there for Cincinnati and they'd go get it.
You were a guy who had a lot of name, image, and likeness deals while you were at Cincinnati. Can you talk to me about the impact that your agency had on that and your relationship with them?
Yeah, I mean, they had a huge impact on that. Banner Sports did a great job with name, image, and likeness. And I want to say the thing is that they did a great job of making it not a distraction. Because, that's where a lot of people thought NIL would come into play, especially with college students. And so they did a great job of kind of keeping it the secondary thing. Football obviously being first. And I made sure of that to myself. I made sure that I wasn't too big of a distraction for myself or for my teammates.
What was the impact of that, having that deal? What did that allow you to do?
Yeah, allowed me to just kind of relax, especially financially. I was renting a house at the time, paying bills, which, I probably wouldn't have been able to do that just on the COA. So for myself, being able to start a family, that was, I had started in April, and welcoming my daughter to this world, it just made me, calm and have a sense of security with it. Yeah, I think my best attributes are to be able to extend plays, my leadership, and then just being able to deliver balls on time. I think that being able to extend plays is huge in this game. Not just being able to stand in the pocket and obviously make throws, but once plays break down or someone comes after you, you got to be able to run away. You got to be able to make plays, whether that's with your feet or with your arm after you've escaped the pocket.
You were a sense of what the city of the buzz of the city, the atmosphere of the city was. You guys going to the playoffs, the Bengals making a run to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so obviously, I wasn't there after January 1st, but before that, it was electric. For two teams to play as well as they did, it was just something that the city hasn't seen before in a very long time at least. But I was happy to be a part of that, and I know every single guy from Cincinnati Bearcats to Cincinnati Bengals was happy to be a part of it.
You were pretty.
You've always been a guy.
It prepared me a lot. I grew up playing Hikes Point football ever since I was a little kid, where the helmet was bigger than my head, and then going to St. X, where it was one of the biggest schools in Kentucky, having a great head coach, Will Wolford, a great quarterback coach, Dave Nurnberg. They did a wonderful job of preparing me for the next level and in college. And I would never change anything I did about those two decisions.
You've always been a guy that's kind of had to prove himself, right? So what is it about this stage, being able to prove yourself against some of these other quarterbacks who might be a little bit less experienced compared to you?
Yeah, I mean, this is where I shine. This is what I do. I'm a competitor. So any type testing drills, I'm doing everything. And then throwing, obviously, that just comes natural. So I'm excited to be out here, just to one, have the opportunity to be out here, and two, excited to compete.
Do you look at yourself?
Who have you had formal interviews with?
It was around like 7-8 teams, Carolina, Washington, the Vikings, Pittsburgh. There's a handful of them.
So Desmond, are you doing everything here?
Yes, ma'am. Except bench press.
Do you look at yourself as the most NFL-ready prospect?
Yes.
Can you just explain why?
Yeah, I feel like obviously played 5 years. I think there might be a couple guys who also played 5 years, but I have the most experience. I've played in many different situations over my 5 years at Cincinnati, and I just feel like I'm the most ready both mentally and athletically.
You weren't the highest ranked.
Yeah, I think we're all just hard workers and overachievers. I know a lot of these guys from, either Carson Strong, who I'm staying with out in California, to meeting guys as Kenny Pickett, Malik, Sam, it doesn't matter. You know, we're all overachievers, and you know, we all feel like that. You know, there's almost a chip on all of our shoulders just because you know we're saying that this draft class isn't as good as others, and this and that. But I think you know you'll see a lot of success out of all of us in the league.
You mentioned the
So
chip.
much success in college, but how did you think you played against Alabama, and what did you learn from a game and an experience like that?
Yeah, obviously can't say I played well because if I did, we would have won. But you know, as a team, you know, there were a lot of things in which I thought we could have done better. You know, we killed ourselves a lot with momentum, having a lot of 3 and outs, not being able to move the ball, other than you know one of the first drives. But you know, that was a great learning experience for not only myself, but our whole team and whole program as a whole, for them to go out there and reach that next level. But for myself, you know, I just saw the competition that I was going to be facing at this level, and you know, I just felt that you know I could play with any of them.
You mentioned the chip on your shoulder. You weren't the highest ranked recruit. Did that fuel you to get to where you are today?
Yeah, 100%. You know, I look back on it now, and you know, some of those guys that were above me when you know I'd either go to the Elite 11 or the opening or whatever it may be, and seeing those guys who were, you know, if I was number 3, they were 1 and 2. Just seeing where they're at now, and you know, myself being where I'm at, you know, I've put in the hard work and time to be where I'm at, and so it just keeps me going day in and day out.
What excites you about the NFL offenses that are taking place around the league now? Like, where do you envision yourself, and what type of offense?
Yeah, just having control over it. I think, you know, being able to do a run play action, whether that's naked or just, you know, under center, being able to have that ability to also drop back into shotgun, maybe do a little quarterback zone read, and then be smart with it. But I think, you know, just the versatility of all the offenses around the league, it's exciting for a quarterback class to come into.
Were there guys?